All right, here we go. This is Steve Miller from Florida Divorce TV. You know, in our ongoing effort to unravel the mysteries of the Florida court system, and for those who need it, we're going to be bringing you some videos on folks that are actually involved with the process. Today, we're talking to Mr. Vincent DeRosa, who has never been a lawyer, but is now what's called a guardian ad litem, or a GAL, as they're known in the industry. Good morning, Mr. DeRosa. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you very much. May I call you Vinny?
Oh, absolutely.
Great. Vinny, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how long you've been in Florida.
Sure. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and I was raised in a town called Richmond Hill, Queens. I had the luxury of both boroughs growing up because my family still lived in Brooklyn. I went to school locally, and I went to Pace University. I started a job in 1976 with Bank of America, and I spent about 15 years with them.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a life actually working with kids, whether I was coaching or managing sports teams or teaching. I taught religious ed for a while, so I always worked with kids.
Got it. And then you got involved a while back with this guardian ad litem program. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Tell us a little bit. Well, first of all, what is a guardian ad litem, and how'd you get involved with that?
Okay. Basically, what the guardian ad litem program is we're on the dependency side of family court, so we represent the children who are in dependency care. Children that have been removed from their homes for various reasons, abuse, neglect, abandonment. And what we do is we work in their manifest best interest. I appear at the schools to work through the education system with them. I also do the hearings. I'm their voice in court. So I advocate for them. I advocate for their needs to make sure that we're always serving in the best interest of the child.
Got it. And how did you get to be a guardian ad litem?
It was something that I had been researching for,
and
so I will be starting my 4th year.
And how was it? An intensive training program to get certified to be a guardian ad litem?
We did. I think it was a 6-week training program, and of course, there's ongoing training as we roll forward. We have in-service meetings, we have conferences, we do online classes. I've gotten to learn more about the Florida statutes when it comes to the dependency side of family law. So we're equipped to deal with the issues that we're faced with on a daily basis.
Got it. And I think you said before, your clients are really the children who you represent. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
And who appoints you to be a guardian ad litem?
The court will appoint us at the first couple of hearings. After a placement hearing where the children are then taken from their homes for whatever the reasons,
right?
We're then assigned, typically, particularly if it's foster care or non-relative, we get assigned to the child by the judge.
Got it. And I know you're talking mostly about dependency court. You know that guardian ad litems are sometimes appointed at family court as well, correct?
Yes, I do. I do know that, yes.
And do the guardian ad litems in family court investigate kind of the same things that you do in dependency court? You know, try and figure out, you know, if parents have a dispute, who may be, you know, telling the truth, who may be hedging a little bit. Because ultimately, who do you have to report to?
Outside of, obviously I report to my seniors in the program, the advocacy managers, but ultimately we report to the court.
That's right. And when you go to the court wants to know, hey, Mr. DeRosa, who did you talk to? What did you do? What did they have to say? Because fair statement or not, that you're sort of the eyes and ears of the court, so they can figure out what the heck is going on, so they can make a determination as to what's in the best interest of the children. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct.
And if we're in
And
dependency court, it's a matter of whether or not the children are going to stay with their parents or perhaps go into foster care, or whether or not there may be some case plan that's necessary to, before we can reunite children and parents, right?
right, that's correct.
And family court's sort of the same thing. You got to make reports and recommendations and let the court know
Yes.
what you think is in the best interest, because you're an officer of the court as a guardian
Yes.
ad litem. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
One last
Correct.
question, Vinny. Let me ask you this:
Yep.
if assuming that somebody's going to be getting involved in this guardian ad litem process, maybe they're in dependency court and the judge is going to appoint a guardian ad litem, what one piece of advice would you give parents who are about to go down this road because a judge says, you know what, Mr. Parent, we got to appoint Vincent DeRosa, guardian ad litem, to figure out what's in your children's best interest? What's that one piece of advice you could give them?
The one piece of advice that I could give and that I typically give is I try to let the parents know, number one, I'm not the enemy, but I do serve in the best interest of the children. And for me, that definition carries itself to the extreme in that sometimes what's in the best interest of the children is to be reunified with the family. Sometimes it's not. And I always tell the parents, no matter what you do, when you're engaged in this cycle and you're part of the dependency system, you need to pay attention to the fact that every decision you make, even though it's not something you need to be in dependency court for, but you need to make sure that every decision you make has the children's best interests as primary. And then beyond that, always be honest, work your case plan, do what you're supposed to do, and show a demonstration of material change for the better.
Always for the better. Listen,
always for the better.
That's right. I mean, fair statement to say, look, the court, everybody has problems. We all know that. The court's concerned with your problems, but more importantly, the court's concerned is whether or not you are addressing your problems and whether you're taking care of yourself, because they got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your children, and they want to make sure those two things don't collide. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement, Steve. That's a fair statement. And because of the position we're in, we have access to all of the records, especially for the children.
Right.
So if I go to a child's school and I ask the administrator to see their records,
right,
I have access to them. It gives me a better understanding of what that child is going through on a daily basis, how we can further meet their needs. Are they getting the right services? Do we need to have evaluations done? I mean, I've done that several times where I've had what we call psychosocials done on children. I've had situations where I've called for what we call protective capacity evaluations on parents to see whether or not they truly have the capacity to bring their children up, to raise them properly. So for me, what I tend to do is I tend to spend not as much time with parents and caregivers, but I spend a lot of time with them to get a better understanding of where they're at.
Makes sense.
I've had situations where I've worked with the families, where I've worked with the parents who have shown me that they're serious. And okay, look, everybody's entitled. We all make mistakes. As long as we own up to those mistakes, we hold ourselves accountable, we show a sense of responsibility going forward, then I have no problem reunifying or recommending that we reunify. I have had situations where I've recommended to the court that we keep them in foster care. I have worked on termination of parental rights because the parents have done absolutely nothing to progress. And the whole thing is that we want to keep these children out of danger.
And that is the bottom line, isn't it, Vincent?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Keep them out of danger.
Absolutely.
Keep your kids safe.
Absolutely.
Right? Perfect.
Keep the kids safe. That's what it's all about. Keeping the kids safe.
Perfect. Listen, Vincent, I want to thank you for your time. It's been really informative. I'm sure everybody will love hearing about guardian ad litem and what it is that you do. Thank you very much, and we look forward to talking to you again.